My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. Today I am putting up my review of the Teton Gear Ultra Mountain Tent. This is the 4-person version. The reason why I had the pause there when I was saying Teton Gear is because recently this company changed their name to Teton Gear. Previously it was Teton Sports. Was that a good change? I don't know. In my mind, this company is still called Teton Sports, and it's going to take a long time for me to learn Teton Gear. Anyways, folks, I've been testing out this tent for a long time now, multiple months, and I'm ready to share with you all my list of pros and cons concerning this shelter. Please know this, folks, I have a preview that goes over every single aspect concerning this tent, every component that's included, every feature. This episode is focusing on the review, my experiences with this tent, the pros and the cons, and that's it. With that being said, if you have any questions that are not answered in this episode, or if you want more information about certain aspects of this tent that are not mentioned in this episode, check out the preview. I likely covered it there. Also, everyone, I do have a test night episode featuring this tent and a long night of ice and heavy rain. Ultimately, the tent performed extremely well, but if you're interested in this tent, you may be interested in that episode too. First things first, let's go over the most basic of stats concerning this tent. This is the 4-person version of the Mountain Ultra tent series. It is available in 3 colors, yellow, red, and gray. According to the company, this is gray. It's not gray. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. Next, everybody, this tent is primarily made from polyester, and that makes sense when you consider the price of this tent. This is very much a budget-friendly tent, and because it's a budget-friendly tent, it is made from polyester. Polyester is an inexpensive material, and at the same time, it is quite heavy and bulky. That explains the overall size of this tent when it's stored, and also the weight. When this shelter is stored, it measures a very long 26.5 inches by 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches, and it weighs 10.1 pounds. When it comes to the price of this tent, the retail is $200. Make sure to pick it up on Amazon as it's always less expensive. At the time of filming, it's $164. I purchased this tent many months back for $156. With the stats out of the way, let's begin my review with the positive points to mention. The setup process for this very large tent is very easy. Everything is color coded, it all makes sense. The fly buckles to the body, which is really nice. With that being said, the breakdown process is just as easy. This is not going to give you a hard time. You can easily get this set up by yourself, 10-15 minutes, with somebody else even quicker. Overall, you could not ask for a simpler setup process. The next point concerning this tent is the quality. The quality of this shelter is fantastic. Every stitch is perfect, every seam is perfect, all of the tape is perfect. Over the years, Teton Sports, Teton Gear has done a fantastic job of really setting themselves apart from other budget companies. Their products are so well made. The quality really is terrific for the price. And get this, the company has a lifetime warranty, and they do stick by their products. When you're a company who is having someone else manufacture your products for you, there are going to be hiccups. Anytime there's ever been a hiccup, I have heard that Teton Sports has taken care of that customer. And that is impressive. Just as impressive as the quality of their tents. When it comes time to enter and exit this tent, it is very easy, and that's because this tent features very large doors. This is a 4-person tent. It has 2 doors, 1 on each side, and as you can see here, they are huge. You can easily get into and out of this tent with no problem. At the same time, you do have quite a bit of vestibule space here for storing gear. Now folks, let's talk about the size of this tent, because this is obviously a very large tent. The company claims this is for 4 people. In a pinch, that's true. You can technically get 4 people to fit inside of this tent, but they are going to be smashed together like sardines. Where this shines is for a 3-person tent, and that leaves you with enough space, personal space, and there's also enough space left over for gear. That's where this tent shines. Additionally, this is a very long tent, so as long as you're under 7 foot tall, you're going to fit inside of this perfectly. Plus, everyone, this is a very tall tent. It's over 4 feet tall. So there's enough space inside of this for everyone to be able to sit up, change clothes, do whatever it is that they want to do. Again, this is a large tent, that's for sure. With the tent fly, the company has done everything right. Basically, it connects to the body with ease via buckles. It also stakes out on the sides so that you get good airflow inside of the tent. You would be amazed at how many companies don't get this aspect right. They'll make it so that you could stake out the doors, but you can't stake out the sides, which limits airflow, which makes the tent hotter, which causes condensation. We're talking about big name companies who can get this wrong. And here we have Teton gear with an inexpensive tent, and they get every aspect right. The fly is separated from the inner, which promotes airflow, which reduces condensation. And when it comes to the quality of the fly, it is very good. Every seam is taped, and it is 100% waterproof. While I did just mention this, I will state this once again. Ventilation inside of this tent is excellent. This is a tent that you want to use in the summertime when it's nice and warm. That is because the inner is covered in mesh. The airflow inside of this is fantastic. So on those hot nights, you are going to be able to feel the cool breeze coming in, which is nice. With that being said, the company refers to this on their Amazon page as a 4-season tent, meaning this is a tent that should only be used in the wintertime. Obviously, this is not a 4-season tent, and Teton Gear needs to correct this point. This will never be a wintertime tent unless you're camping down in Florida or something like that, right? This tent is designed for warm weather, not icy, cold, windy conditions. As far as this tent being waterproof goes, it certainly is. I have taken this out into numerous trips. One of them involved roughly 4 inches of rain that actually started off as an ice storm. Everything on this tent covered in ice melted off, and then numerous inches of rain fell. No leaking has taken place on any of the trips that I've done with this tent. The next pro that I have for this tent is price and value. For less than $200, you're getting an extremely large tent that performs very well. Ventilation is awesome. It's completely waterproof. There's a ton of space inside of this. In general, this tent does just about everything right with very few issues. And when you compare the price of this to a name brand 4-person tent, the price difference is going to blow your mind. And the thing is this is designed better than the majority of those expensive tents. So without a doubt, the value on this and the price is excellent. Another pro in my opinion is the weight of this tent. It's a 4-person tent, it's quite large, it weighs 10 pounds. This is not a backpacking tent, and nobody's going to think that it is. This is a car camping tent only. Luckily at 10 pounds, you could still easily move this around, set it up, and so on. It's not going to hurt you or anything like that. When it comes to some large tents, they could be insanely heavy, but this one here, it's not bad. You do have to keep in mind though, this is a car camping tent. This is not for backpacking. As far as the wind performance goes with this tent, it is rock solid. You stake it out around the bottom, you stake it out with the 4 guy lines that are included, and this tent barely moves. Another positive aspect for this tent here is the storage bag that's included. It is large enough to encompass this entire tent and all of the components, and you can get everything to fit nice and easy. And that takes us over to the cons that I have for the Mountain Ultra series of tents, including the 4-person version that you see here. Teton Gear. What on earth is going on when it comes to your colors? In some cases, the pictures of the tents and the colors do not match up with the real world. According to Teton Gear, this is a dark gray color. Does this look dark gray to you? No, it's not. This is a very light blue color. In no way is this a gray color at all. It's not light gray, it's not dark gray. It is like a light blue. Not too long ago, I put up my rain test video with this tent, and I received emails from people asking me, where did I get the white Teton Sports tent? Folks, the camera makes it a little bit more white looking than it really is. This is like a baby blue sort of color. Either way, this is not the color that I purchased or that I wanted. In fact, I have to say I don't like this color at all. If you're going to purchase this tent, do not get the gray color because it's baby blue. The red looks good, the yellow looks good. This gray color looks awful. The next issue that I have with this tent is a minor one, and we're looking at it right here. This is one of the vents. There's another vent on the other side. You can see here that the placement of these vents is too high up on this tent. And at the same time, the vent itself is too shallow, meaning this. If this tent is set up and a strong storm moves in, water can easily be blown into those vents and the tent will leak. Because of that, if rain is coming in, you need to shut those vents. That way you can ensure that you're going to stay dry. As long as it's not windy, Even in a moderate rain, it's not going to be a big deal. But in heavy rainfall and if there's wind, you're going to have an issue. Because of that, I tend to leave these vents closed all the time. Luckily, the overall ventilation with this tent system here is so good that these vents on top make very little difference. I personally never use them because I don't want to have to exit the tent at nighttime if I forgot to close them and a rain event is coming in. Ultimately, the design of these vents could be much better. I've already spoken about how on Amazon this is listed as a wintertime tent, a 4-season tent. They also list this tent as being ideal for hiking and backpacking. This is not a 4-season tent, and this is not ideal for hiking or backpacking. It is simply too heavy. And at the same time, the storage size of this tent, it is massive. You would have to have a gigantic backpack to carry this. Seriously folks, the storage size of this is so big that that idea is almost comical. It just does not make any sense. This is a car camping tent, a truck camping tent. This is not a backpacking tent. For a 4-person tent, this tent is actually quite heavy. You can easily go out and find 4-person tents that are much lighter than this one here, and that's because of the materials. Again folks, we're talking about an inexpensive, bulky, heavy polyester. This material could certainly keep you dry, but the trade-off is this. It's heavy, it's bulky, and it takes up a ton of space. It is a great material for inexpensive budget tents. And with that being said folks, I am done. This is my agenda-free review of the Teton Gear Mountain Ultra tent. I want to say Teton Sports so bad. It doesn't help that it's written on the tent here, you know what I mean? Even on Amazon, this is called the Teton Sports tent. Every single product on Amazon from this company is called Teton Sports, even though the company changed their name to Teton Gear. This is something that confuses a lot of their customers. They go out looking for Teton Sports or they go looking for Teton Gear and they can't find either one because 1, Teton Sports is no longer present, and 2, Teton Gear is not listed on Amazon and elsewhere. I'm not entirely sure what the company is doing, but they definitely need to get this sorted out. Anyways, this is a fantastic tent that I can easily recommend. Do not buy this color unless you just like baby blue. I really dislike this. I was under the impression that I was purchasing a dark gray tent, and this is almost white. Almost. I mean, it's got that shade of blue. It's not a shade of gray, it's a shade of blue. And I simply do not like it. But that's just me, right? Nonetheless, the company does need to get all of that organized, straightened out, just like their name. In the end, this is a fantastic tent. If you're someone who is looking for a large 4-person tent, this is certainly a good option. Look at the yellow one. Look at the red one. Don't get this. This tent does perform extremely well. It's very waterproof. Ventilation is amazing. This is a tent that you want to use in the summertime. The performance is that good. In the end, I have very few real complaints about this product. The company can improve the vents, certainly improve the colors, but outside of that, this is a really good performer for the money. It is now your turn to sound off in the comment section down below. Share your thoughts. What do you all think about the Teton Gear Mountain Ultra tent? What do you all think about this color, right? This is dark gray according to Teton Gear. It's not. It's blue. It's hideous. Anyways, folks, I am done. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Until next time, take care, be well, strength and honor. Bye for now.